DeSantis facing pushback from lawmakers and activists alike over a new plan to add additional recreational sports facilities to multiple state parks, including two right here in South Florida. It's called the Great Outdoors Initiative by the governor. The major redevelopment proposal would add pickleball courts, golf courses, and even hotels at state parks. It's something many say would infringe upon protected natural resources and destroy what experts say has taken decades to preserve.
Florida wildlife is under attack. In the never-ending battle between conservation and development, we recently had some shocking news that seemed to come out of nowhere. A group of developers wanted to destroy a Florida state park, add to the already 1,200 plus golf courses in the state of Florida. It's laughable. I felt a sense of betrayal from those in government positions, a clear lack of respect for the amount of quote-unquote protected nature and wildlife. As this all unfolded, I sat back and asked myself, what can I do? I saw people like Mang, Captains for Clean Water, Lucas Martinez, and many others doing what they could to try and stop this nonsense. I figured, let me go and show people what these state parks have to offer, why we need to protect and defend them. So here we are, 2 state parks in 2 days.
That's beautiful fish. Look at the colors on him.
Day 1. This was my first stop, a state park located about an hour north of me. I had zero knowledge whether or not it even had fish. I grabbed one rod and my wading shoes and headed there with low expectations. What I was expecting though was abundant wildlife. Green, beautiful vegetation, birds everywhere, and that's what I was greeted with. As I tied my shoes and began heading towards the water along the trail, I found myself more captivated with filming the wildlife around me than actually trying to go get on some fish. The grass surrounding the parking lot and the trail was still damp from the morning. It seemed to be stretching out towards the sky in an attempt to dry off. I then started walking towards the water, following the gravel soon to turn woods path in front of me. The sun was perfectly lighting this park's beauty, waking up the animals and nature around me as I walked through the trail. I saw signs of life, deer and raccoon tracks, hawks flying above. It was awesome. I finally made the half-mile walk to the water, walking through the somewhat flooded trail while doing it.
Made it. I don't think I've ever seen mosquitoes this bad. Not gonna lie, actually insane. But guys, probably got it from the intro and the title, but today we're doing something different. Never really wade fished primarily. I've done it like 2 videos ago. On my paddleboard, I hopped off and wade fished, but I've never done it like from the start. Today we're doing that. Wade fishing. We're here. Gonna see what happens. Hopefully we get on something.
As I got close to the picture-perfect water, so calm it looked like a lake, I began to get ready for some fishing. I was going to try throwing a gulp and wade fishing the coastline, although some ideas don't always go as planned. I fished for about an hour with no luck. I saw some fish, but nothing was biting. I didn't love what I was seeing after that, and I decided to focus on the beauty of this park and what I knew it had to offer. A gorgeous, mile-long trail all people can enjoy. Dog walkers, anglers like myself, runners. This is the case with so many state parks in Florida. As I completed this trip, I had my sights set on the next state park, one I knew had not only lots of fish, but big ones too. So, we were led to day number 2. Paddleboarding. It's something I've been doing a lot more lately on the channel. I went to the Everglades in a previous trip, exploring the national park. I figured the same could apply to a state park and refuge.
Alrighty guys, well, cannot be more excited. As you guys can see, we are here paddleboarding today. Beautiful, got the boat board, mullet jumping behind me. I'm sure there's some reds and snook mixed in with them, but guys, today we are at a state park that is near and dear to my heart. I've been here, it's my second time ever being here, but first time, got a 35-inch snook in wintertime. It was one of my first YouTube videos I ever made, and really just was an awesome time, was an awesome video for me, was something that I appreciate being able to do. But today, guys, I was thinking about what I could do. You know, I've been on the boat a lot, and that's awesome, but obviously costs some money filling it up and is a lot of work. So I figured, you know, let's get back to paddleboarding. You guys seem to love it, so I figured you guys like it, you appreciate it, and with the state of what's going on in Florida, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there is a huge thing. Someone was trying to build a golf course on a state park. So I figured, let's try to show you guys why these are important. I'm gonna hopefully catch a lot of fish, some different species, and I'm gonna show you guys just why these state parks are so important. On that side, it's actually protected. On this side, it's open ocean, backwaters, you're allowed to fish and get after it. But gonna show you guys why these parks are so appreciated by anglers like me. They're cherished and they are important. I hope I can show you guys that. I hope I can get on some fish. Gonna be throwing some gulps, some DOAs, some NLBNs, some swim baits, whatever, some topwaters maybe. We got one rod, 3,000 sustain, light tackle. Doesn't get much better than that on a paddleboard, but these bugs are bad. Gonna make sure I got everything from the truck. Let's get after it.
Before I could even get fishing, I was greeted by this flock of Rosetta spoonbills, searching the exposed flats on this low tide.
Alrighty guys, well, we are off. Cannot be more excited about this trip. As you guys can see, we're just paddling through these mangroves right now. Shoots you out to some bays. Awesome stuff. I think we're gonna get on some nice fish. I'll tell you what, this water temperature is crazy. It's gotta be all the rain, but it really is just so cold compared to what it's been. And yesterday I was on the boat towards Naples, Estero area, and that water temperature has been 90 at one point in summer, and it was all the way down to 82, which is just outrageous. That's what it was months ago, you know what I mean? So I have heard some things about how sometimes the fish, they can be a little harder to catch. I don't know if they're like kind of shocked or whatever. At the end of the day, I think they might be a little active. This bottom's very oystery, as a sheep's head. I feel like the new penny might be good. All right, let's go. I hope when the sun comes out, we have some sight casting opportunities. Nice little red. Here we go, guys. Beautiful redfish. Ooh, look at him. Beautiful fish. Come here, buddy. Oh, here we go. Look at him. Cold fish for this time of year. Look at that fish. Gorgeous fish. Oh, there we go. Guys, probably about look at that. I look like a fool. We'll try to keep it head down. Guys, that was my 10th cast of the day probably. First redfish, fat one, beautiful fish. It's gonna be a good day. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is very overcast. I love this overcast. I think it's gonna allow us to get on some nice fish, but let's keep it working. Let's go.
As I kept working this backwater estuary, I noticed key factors of a healthy ecosystem. First, the fish. In my first 10 casts, I already had a beautiful, healthy redfish with many more on the way. Second, the bait. Thousands of mullet poured through these mangroves, followed by glass minnows and crustaceans. Ultimately, it was clean. Muddy bottom mixed in with oyster bars, providing food and shelter for many species.
Alright guys, well, first redfish down. Yeah guys, something that's so nice about these state parks though is the accessibility. Like you're allowed, you're even motivated or like encouraged to come here and fish, you know what I mean? You're like encouraged to come drop in and enjoy this. And it's like, that's what's getting lost in nature today is, I mean, you guys saw my Everglades video. That's another area where it's like free country out there. You can kind of do what you want, you know what I mean? But it's like around town, maybe where you live, there's such few areas where you can kind of just freely drop in like that, you know what I mean? I know for me, I have spots already. I'm only 22, I turned 22 a couple weeks ago, and there's not even places, there's places that I used to paddleboard a couple years ago that I can no longer fish, you know what I mean? I can't imagine, or when you're like 30 and 40 right now, you know what I mean? It's like, and you've been fishing your whole life, there's probably areas that were the best spots ever you can't even get to right now because they got developed or whatnot, you know what I mean? So it's like having places like this where they should be protected. I should be able to fish this 30 years from now with my kids, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, catching that redfish already makes the trip worth it. I haven't caught a redfish in a while, it's kind of funny.
As you guys can see here on the low tide, these oysters are just beautiful bottom for redfish, snook, and many other species.
Little snook. I started reeling it in. It's funny, I started reeling it in and he came and smoked it. There you go, buddy. There's a red. Beautiful little redfish. Guys, beautiful red right there. Let's go. Alrighty guys, so that's another redfish in the boat. Having a great morning so far. If we can get one of some size, I'd be happy. Alrighty guys, well that was cool. Redfish in the boat, can never be mad at that. Another red. Guys, we are on the redfish today. This cooler water temperature might be why. I'm starting to have some theories. I know reds are heavy in the kind of early fall, spring months. And this temperature is reminding me of those times. Doesn't get much better than that. They're all around 18 to 20. Gorgeous hook set right there. Guys, beautiful fish. Look at the colors on him. Got me wet. Guys, just look at this bottom. This is what we're fishing. You can tell why the redfish are here. Just beautiful oystery bottom. Doesn't get much better than this. Got this whole bay, beautiful bay. Just working in and out of all these indents, coves, casting up in these mangroves. Throwing 3,000 sustain. I love this setup, man. Beautiful setup right there. Star rod, medium, really light.
After catching that beautiful redfish, I decided to wade fish a little bit, taking advantage of the cool water temperatures on my skin.
Just walk in this beautiful water. I got flip-flops, cooler water temperature, feels good, super clear. Ooh, nice red right there. That's a nice snook. Alright, I gotta start casting out here. We just spooked a couple slot snook. Little redfish too. They were all off a little bit. I need to work this shrimp nice and slow. Make sure it's on the bottom because it is like 4 feet here. All the snook are cruising on the bottom. It's a good fish. I think it's a nice red. Yeah, he's a little bit better, I think. Nothing crazy. Oh, beautiful hook set right there, though. He hit hard. Guys, another beautiful red right there. Look at the colors on him. All of these fish take off, man. Once again, guys, we're kind of on them. Let's go. Let's keep it going. I see some big snook, some big reds, so let's go. Well, guys, I saw some snook and some reds cruising kind of in the deeper part, and that was my first cast, kind of out in the open. He fought hard. He honestly fought like a heavier fish. My guess is with all this action, we're gonna get into either a big snook or a big red, but not gonna get arrogant. We're gonna keep fighting, keep fishing, see what happens.
After yet another redfish, I decided to start working towards the coastline, out of the backwater bays. As I was heading that way, I stumbled upon the birds and the nature also calling this place home, perched on the mangroves and singing their songs together, giving me my background music as I'm paddling along.
Alrighty guys, as you guys can probably see, working towards the coastline now. Water's about to get a lot clearer, almost like beach. If that sun comes out, we're gonna have some great sight casting opportunities. But that being said, just gonna blind cast. It's very beachy, sandy bottom. This is looking like some snook territory right here. I guess we'll find out. Told you guys. Little snook. He's dragging us in the mangroves. We'll hop out real quick. Look at that. Beautiful fish. Oh, he came off. Alright, let's walk and talk. We're already out. Might as well wade fish. I love wade fishing. There we go, guys. Look at that snook. He took off. Beautiful snook. Nothing crazy, but he's a little bigger. Look at that hook set, swallowed it. There we go, guys, look at him. Beautiful little snook right there. He's nothing crazy, but definitely a pretty guy.
As I kept working along the coast, I decided to wade fish again. This beautiful coastline is home to so much life. Glass minnows, oystery sand bottom, mullet, grass. It's why there's fish here, and it's a key reason why we need to keep protecting these areas.
Super sandy bottom. Beautiful stuff, really. Nice red. It's a little beach red. Here, we'll hop out with this guy.
I think my favorite thing about this redfish in this estuary as a whole was how noticeable the differences were in the colors, even though they were only 300 yards or so away. The first reds I caught were so bright, pumpkin orange, and this one was almost as white as snow, a typical coastline redfish. As I let that fish go, my day was coming to a close. The coastline produced all I could ask for, 2 little snook and a beautiful redfish. I took to recording the beauty of this park, the broken mangrove branches from storms, the green leaves as beautiful as can be, and the underground fortress of mangroves and sticks, providing shelter for snook, redfish, and bait alike. I ended up calling it a day before the summertime storms and heading back to the launch point, seeing the birds, mangroves, and even the invasive iguana perched on the rock. After loading up the board, I was filled with the appreciation for these state parks. The first one provided us a look into nature while being accompanied by a gorgeous walk, and the second provided the fish, redfish and snook, and the tannic backwaters along with the beachy coast. I hope this video showed you guys why these parks are so important, and the reasons we need to keep fighting to protect them. These ecosystems are much more important than another golf course or neighborhood, and need to be protected for generations to come. I appreciate you guys watching, and as always, if you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with a buddy. God bless you, and until next time.